You see our website, Lessons in My website, and you think we are always this way, but no. Okay. From way back, Les and I were always Div Sixers. We both got into the church in the 70s, and we liked bringing other people in. That was our thing. We were in Div 6. Okay. In the church, some of you may have experienced this. We had these ridiculous dissemination drills that we had to do in the church. Like walking up to someone in a grocery store and saying, "Do you know about Scientology?" No. And we had a drill, and we had to do these drills. So we did the drills, but of course we never went out and did them in real life. Now, I originally got motivated to become an auditor when the church had a Power FSM game that was like getting 50 people on the bridge or something like that. And I found that I couldn't do it by just going out and disseminating. That never worked for me personally. So I asked a very successful field auditor. Her name is Melanie Murray. Some of you may remember her. She was also Melanie Seidler. Some of you might remember her. Okay. And how she was so successful at field auditing. I just went and asked her because she earned a 6-figure income in the field. That's what we all heard. Now, first of all, she showed me her business card that did not say Dianetics or Scientology on it. And I was like, how could that be? Blasphemous. And all it said was counseling. And she said she did not tell people that it was Dianetics and Scientology, and sometimes they were already in session. And they would go, "Is this Dianetics?" And she'd go, "Well, yeah." You know? Okay. So the flow was that she did counseling and that she could help. Whatever their problem was, she could help. And she also told me that Ron says, which I know this is true, audit everyone who will let you for free. And if you do that, the paying PCs will come. Okay? And I can attest to that fact. All right. Now later on, I just wanted to throw in this little tidbit that at ASHO, the director of training would send the BC grads to me, the briefing course graduates. They were Class 6 auditors. They would set up their field practice or their auditing room, beautiful auditing room, and they had no PCs. And they would say, "How do you get PCs?" And he would say, "Go ask Anita Warren." I was completely not trained, but they would come to me and they'd go, "Oh, he told us to come to you to find out how to get PCs." And I would say, "Well, just what Ron says, you have to audit everyone who will let you for free." And they were like, "No way. Oh, no way." So they would be insulted, in fact. Here I am, a Class 6, I'm not going to audit anyone for free after all this training that I've had. It's like, okay, whatever you want to do, I have PCs, you know. So what I learned was to have high ARC for everyone and to pass out my card at every opportunity. If someone gave me a ruin, I would offer to audit or give an assist for free. At that time, the only thing I knew how to do was give assists and book one audit. And I was in my meter training at ASHO. That's in LA, for those of you who might not know. Okay, now orgs are supposed to have a free Scientology center. And it's in the OEC volumes. There's a reference called Free Scientology Center. So I started one at LA Org. The org was amicable to having a free Scientology center, and they gave me a little space. And I just started auditing people off the street. And it was like used cars, push, pull, or drag. Anything you can bring in, that's your trade-in, push, pull, or drag. So that's how I looked at the PCs. Bring anybody, I wasn't going to turn away any PCs. So I would give them a session and then send them to the reg. I had a little line worked out. They'd get a session, and then after the session, they'd go to the reg. And if they didn't pay for a course, which was about $40 at the time, they would be sent back to me for another session. They'd get an appointment for another session. And it just went on like that. Every session they'd get sent to the reg, and if they either signed up or they came back to me for another session. And of course about half of them blew from that, but about half of them signed up. So I would book one audit then, or I would give them an assist if they needed that, whatever it was. And I found out that you really couldn't book one audit everyone. Some had different problems. So I learned to keep the Scientology handbook handy which is the booklets also. And whatever they needed, I would just pull out the right booklet or chapter and try to help them with that. I was helping people get off drugs. I was applying conditions. It's all in the handbook and the booklets. And then there's another auditing, Scientology auditing. And there's Intro Scientology Auditing, which is in a nice little book called the Intro Demo Process Book. And I didn't know how to use it. I was avoiding it. I didn't know the difference between a Scientology PC and a Dianetics PC and how you can tell which one you should be auditing them on. But I had this one Book 1 PC that was very annoying. Now, he kept coming back for sessions, but he kept asking me, what is this Scientology? And I kept trying to avoid his questions and just give him another Book 1 session. But whenever I audited him, his incidents were, I'm on the ceiling looking down at my body. And so finally, one day, I decided to confront it, and I figured, what the heck, I'm auditing him for free anyway. So I took out the book, I opened it to the first process, and I started auditing him. And each page was a different process, and I gave him a win on every process, and he loved it. And after that, I wasn't afraid to do the Scientology processes. So then, and I dug in and found out how you know the difference between a Scientology PC and a Dianetics PC. And if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter that much anyway, just do the other one. Switch, just switch. So, remember I said I was in the middle of my meter training. Did I say that? Maybe I didn't say that. Okay. Yeah. So I found this handy LRH reference that said EMeters should be used when someone is in Book 1 training. And it is an HCOB, red on white, and it's called Dianetic Auditor Course, and it's dated 3 April 66. And Ron talks about putting the PC on the cans, just to see what the meter is doing while you're auditing the PC Book 1. So I started doing that. I was scared, but the PC was getting free auditing, and his eyes are closed, so you can't see what I'm doing anyway. So I knew enough to put the PC on the cans and set up the meter. So, wow, this was enlightening. And gradually, I learned to incorporate my meter training into the sessions and actually use the meter. But in the beginning, it was like I'd put the PC on the cans, and the meter was kind of way over there, and then I'd see this thing happening on the dial, and then I'd start moving the meter in closer, and it worked out very well. So I recommend that for anyone who's learning to use a meter and knows how to book one audit. And then one day I had a big cognition. With my use of Book 1, self-analysis, the handbook booklets, the Scientology auditing, there isn't any new person on planet Earth that I couldn't help. It was like, wow, that was huge. All I had to do was get in calm, find out what their issue was, and there was some piece of tech that I could use. So I graduated from auditing strangers to auditing friends and family. This was huge. I actually went on a trip to go visit some family and friends, all for free, of course, and it went great. I took my meter with me, and they all had big wins, wrote success stories, and my confidence went way up. Now, meantime, I was always smart enough to post my wins. I wrote up my wins as an auditor, I got the PCs to write up their wins, and I always spread them all over the place. I was doing all this auditing for me, mind you. I don't know what I meant by that. Oh, but I was making a name for myself at the same time by spreading all the wins around. People were finding out who I am. So one day the phone rang. And someone I didn't know called me because she had a family member with a blood disease and wanted me to give him a cyst. Well, I was feeling a little charged up because I audit for free and I didn't know how to charge someone, never had. So I said, I can't keep doing this for free. And she said, oh, don't worry, we'll pay you. And I was like blown away, like woohoo! I was so happy, my first paying PC. So I made a policy that when they come to me, they pay. And if I have to go out and solicit PCs because I don't have any, they're free. As it went, I was pulling in PCs that were in hospitals. These became my paying PCs. The word got around that I would audit people, go to hospitals and audit, give them assists, not audit. And I got so busy, I actually had to hire 2 more assist auditors to go do the jobs. Okay? So the rest is history. But I give you a couple of stable datums. Be a collector of email addresses. and learn to send out your success stories at every opportunity. Continue to get trained. Audit everyone who will let you for free. The paying PCs will come. And if you need help with any of this, just ask me. I can send you a copy of what I just read to you. And I do have a big purpose to help others get started as auditors. So you're not bothering me. This is what I do, and it's what I want to do. Okay? So thank you very much for listening.